Congressman, I know you've been racing back and forth between votes there on the financial services re-regulation, but let's talk about climate change. Palin hitting Al Gore, saying that he's only interested in this for the money, that this is a conflict of interest. We just heard from Patrick J. Buchanan a moment ago. Let's talk about climate change and the whole conflict between the deniers and those of you who believe that this is self-evident.
Well, I think that Governor Palin is nice to leave her book tour making money in order to charge Al Gore, who has dedicated his life to studying the science of climate change. The reality is that the glaciers are melting, the ice cap in the Arctic is melting, the winters in Alaska are now 6 degrees warmer than they were just 50 years ago. The coral reefs are dying. The evidence is overwhelming. The world is gathering in Copenhagen. The National Academy of Sciences of every nation in the world agree with the scientific findings, and they want to take action. There are a few people who are still fighting it in the same way that there were people still fighting the science of whether or not tobacco caused lung cancer, but we could not rely upon that small minority when the overwhelming majority said the fumes in human beings were killing them, in the same way that we now see that the fumes going into the atmosphere is having a dramatically negative impact on our planet.
Congressman, let's talk about, though, what Pat Buchanan and others and Sarah Palin are saying is that this is a huge wealth transfer. Let's grant, which they don't, the science, and that it is caused by man and that it is a major, a global, galactic change. But what about the policy prescriptions that you and others are suggesting? In the middle of a recession with people out of work, won't it have a short-term, really negative impact on some of the Rust Belt states that are hurting the most?
Just the opposite. In fact, what we are going to need is a new manufacturing sector in the United States. In the same way, and I was the chairman, we passed 3 laws back in the 1990s that created the broadband and the wireless revolution that created Google and eBay and Amazon and YouTube and 2 million jobs. Our legislation will create the same 2 million new jobs. So the question really for our country is not whether or not we are going to create new jobs, it's whether or not they're going to be created in China and we're going to import their wind turbines, their solar, their energy efficiency technologies, or we're going to brand them made in America the way we did Google and eBay and those other technologies in the 1990s. This is a revolution. The green generation in America, every young person under 30 wants it, and they know that's where the new jobs are. If we stick our heads in the sand technologically, we're going to lose the opportunity. We'll continue to import oil from OPEC, and then we'll begin importing environmental technologies from China. We will be left behind in the technological rearview mirror of history.
And we only have about 15 seconds. Can you just respond to Mike Pence earlier on the program? He said you don't you don't negotiate a climate treaty before you declare war.
Before you declare war on
climate, I guess.
Oh, well, in order to solve this problem, it will take the whole world working on it. We can't exclude China, India. The United States is going there now as a leader, not a laggard. The president accepts the science. We are behind the rest of the world. But if we do it, we can begin to back out the OPEC oil with these new technologies, create 2 million new jobs, and save the planet in the bargain.
Congressman Ed Markey, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank
and
you.
I'm Andrea Mitchell. Nora